Well, heck. Wait a minute. Why doesn't this... Oh, that's why it didn't look right. Oops. I figured while I'm waiting for my first morning video to upload, I just wanted to say a little bit about Maine, because I spent 2007, most of it, I arrived there in March of 2007, and didn't leave there until 2018. That's a few years, so I think I have some authority of which to speak. Now, I try to imitate the Maine accent, but I gotta tell you, I'm nowhere close, okay? Not even that guy from Maine that imitates that accent. No. The first time you hear the true, original, generational, it's almost like genetic. Where did it come from? So I was looking for pure farm-raised meats when Dennis was very ill that first year, 2016, 2017. And I found a farmer out in Dexter. Bless his heart. He had chickens, he had sheep, he had beef, all his own, raised there, butchered and in the freezer. And I would go and buy from him. And the first time he opened his mouth to speak, and you hear that true, pure, down east Maine accent, you're just kind of like, you just are awestruck. It is a sound so different than anything you'll ever hear again, I swear. And you just want to keep hearing it. It's probably why that Tim, what's his name? I don't know. He was all over Maine, and he actually did little performances where he did jokes with that accent. Can't remember what his name was. Tim something. Even his name was funny. I never got to go see him, unfortunately. I'll try to figure out. Samples! Tim Samples! I bet you that wasn't even his name. But anyway, you might be able to find him in a YouTube video. I wonder. And even though he's very, very close, I'll tell you, until you hear it from the Mainer's mouth, it's just different. It's mind-boggling. You think, where is this person from? Where did they come from? It isn't really Southern. It isn't really Brit. It isn't New England. Not really. It has a little bit of, you know, park the car in the yard. But this is just profound, okay? I mean, all I can tell you is go to Maine, go north, go out, and find the oldest family relative of that area, and you may just get to hear it with your own 2 ears. Enough about that. What else can I tell you about Maine? Real Mainers, they don't like you. They call people from Massachusetts. Please forgive this one. I didn't say it. Massholes. They don't like you. If you're not generational and you're not from there, you are going to be treated like poop. Honestly, unless they want your money. We used to go to Booth Bay Harbor, and there was this restaurant, and I got to tell you, I've never had such great fried food in all my life. She would never, ever let us sit at this particular table and rude about it. One time they kicked us out because I brought my little tiny girl who was 4 years old a cinnamon roll into the restaurant. You can't have that here. I said, she can't eat her cinnamon roll. We're ordering 2 breakfasts. No, it's the law. Okay, we'll take those 2 breakfasts to go. After a while, we just got tired of being treated like poo. So one last time I ordered to go and I took it out, and that was the last time we bothered. The next time we drove by there, she had folded and there was no indication that, you know, she went anywhere else. I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to have tourists. I realized she only wanted locals, but tourists are your business between June and October. So anyway, that was one experience. Other experiences would be advertising lobster rolls when in fact it was pollock. Sea legs, as they call it, fake crab. But there was this one guy in Booth Bay Harbor right on that main road, and I hope he's still there, bless his heart. He was a lobsterman, and he had lobsters, and oh, he gave good deals, I'll tell you. And he'd steam them right there, and you could take your lobster and go picnic with it. Decent man. This is what we used to do. We love lobster dipped in butter, and I like to squeeze some lemon on it first and then dip it in butter, but that's just me. I love lemon. Lemon and butter, ooh. So I would get the Land O'Lakes made a whipped butter in a little plasticky, cardboardy container, right? And after we stopped, we'd drive in the big old van. Sometimes we were in our Aspire instead of a van because we always stayed in rooms. Dennis was not one to camp. He wasn't quite like me. He needed the comforts of home. So even though he lived rough, that's probably why. He lived rough when he'd go down to Florida for so many years, living in his van. Bless his heart. And so he'd want a room, or we'd get a cabin. And back then it was affordable, $65 a night, and we were making good money, you know. Yeah. Anyway, come out of it. I would take the little container of butter after we stopped. I'd open the hood and sit it on the engine, and you'd have melted butter within minutes because that engine was hot. And then we'd sit at a picnic table and we'd start cracking that. I always carried with me paper towels, nut crackers, you know, crackers to crack open the lobster, and the little picks. I knew we were going to Maine and we needed lobster and clams. So I love clams. That's another story. I don't bother now. It's expensive and I can't taste it. It makes no sense. I know I'd have the texture, but what's the point? So anyway, so we'd sit down at a picnic table, and I always brought a cloth because people are dirty and they leave messes. I put my tablecloth out. I put out our crackers and our little picks, and we would just go to town on that lobster. Good. Those were happy golden years for me. All by myself. It's overwhelming to think of it. I don't know if I'm going to stay in New England. I just don't know. But that's some of my main stories. Oh, we had some fun times. One time in Booth Bay, was it Booth Bay, or was it one of those places? You go into the center town, and it is cute as a button. And there was this old arcade. And there was this hunting arcade machine. And it was a gun, and you would, oh gosh, I hope I don't get shut down on YouTube for saying those 2 words. the H word and the G word. Hunting gun. So, so Dennis, Bonnie said, oh, play that one, Dad. Play that one. I want to see how it works. And little deers are going by, and Dad's got the rifle, and he shoots one. And she starts crying, bawling to the top of her lungs, and I gotta usher her out of there, right? And go to the candy store next door and buy her a lollipop. I said, honey, those aren't real. Baby, and all this other stuff. And good time. We were older, you know. She called us old hippies. My parents are old hippies, and we weren't really genuinely from the hippie era. I mean, we were young when we were growing up in the pretty much 60s, you know. I was born in 58, so do the math. It wasn't until I was about 10 in 68 that, you know, I loved the whole atmosphere, love, peace, and I don't know, cows. Vermont saying, love, peace, and cows. I want to go back to Vermont, but it's going to break my heart. I'm going to remember that trip. I'm going to see places we've been before. But it's home. I grew up in New England, and my mother took me all over Vermont. And my brother took me all over New Hampshire. And Dennis and I went all over Maine. There's no way of escaping it. I've been to New York State. Beautiful, beautiful. I would love to go up to Champlain. But something tells me to go do my show. Maybe do another couple and show, you know, markets, just little markets, couple of tables up and some stuff to just, you know, get some gas money together and maybe, you know, head over to some other areas that I never got to explore as much. The road will always remind me of him. And someday I'll smile instead of cry. That hasn't come yet, but I hope it will. That's my story, and it's too long, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.